Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at people who had a gut feeling to dislike someone. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. Not a person, but a dog. Years ago, I had a girlfriend who lived at home with her sister, parents, 3 dogs and a cat. One of the dogs was a big goofy lab that loved everyone. I mean everyone. 2-year-olds could climb all over him and he loved it. Anyway, the sister had been seeing some guy for a little while, maybe a month, and she's bringing him home to meet the family for the first time. The guy hadn't even come to the door yet. The dog was in the house and went ballistic. I had never seen anything like it. He went from a goofball to apex predator. Needless to say, he couldn't come in the house. They had to leave. About 2 weeks later, the sister comes home. He had slapped her and she ended it. She also found out that he beat his ex-wife before her. Dogs know, I agree. Dogs know there's something fishy about a person. Dogs do know. My sister's boyfriend, I just immediately found him to be very fake and disingenuous, but the rest of the family loved him and found him very charming. Charming. Of course he's charming. He owned a running store franchise that was more successful than the original store and was also doing well trading on the stock market. He sold the store back to the owners for a ton of money to focus on the stock market. But this was around the time of the market crash. So to help with that, he worked at the store as a salesman. They eventually got married and bought a huge house. And that's when the cops came knocking at the door to their large home with a view. He wasn't rich. He never owned the store. He was only ever a worker and had been stealing cash from the register/products and selling them on eBay. The divorce came quick after that. How do you fake that well? Oh wait, I guess he's rich from stealing money. The girlfriend and I used to work at the same ski hill, and the place was pretty much full of seasonal employees, revolving door status. Anyway, she got this new dude in her department that everyone thought was a super nice guy. I did not trust him. There was just something about the way he talked to female employees that just seemed weird. He was trying to gain their trust way too quick. I made my sentiments known to my girlfriend and other friends, and they thought I was just being jealous or something. I worked part-time and he'd always ask me what days I was gone. It was weird. He wants to be alone with the girls. He also didn't have a car, so sometimes my girlfriend would give him a ride home and he'd ask her to hang out at our place when I was out of town. She declined. So at the end of the season, a female friend of ours and this kid decided to rent a place together. They weren't dating, and as they're in the final steps, federal marshals show up and arrest him. Turns out he had been on the run for over a year for kidnapping a girl in a different part of the country. His family had been helping him, and he took the name of his brother while on the run. Filling out the housing application somehow tipped off the marshals. Trust your instincts. Whoa! Thank gosh for that feeling, honestly. I'm so glad she didn't invite him to their home. That is creepy. Seriously, the family helped him? How dared they? Oh my gosh, why would you want to help someone like this? When I was a boy, 7 to 8, at a coffee shop I would go with my parents frequently. There would often be a middle-aged Asian woman hanging out. She was a regular. The baristas knew her. My parents were friendly with her. Sometimes I would play board games with my parents and her. She gave me the creeps, but I couldn't pinpoint why. My parents knew I didn't like her much, but not the full extent. Anyway, the very first time I was with her without my parents there, they were starting the car or something like that. She tried to get me to come back to her house. She wouldn't take no for an answer and got pushy. When my parents came back, I told them what happened and we never went there again. Trust your gut instincts, okay? You don't get that feeling for no reason. My former handball coach, everybody liked him, but I had a weird feeling about him. After training, he would come into our showers and give out shower caps for us to use. Or in the winter, he would bring us snow to play. A few years later, he got arrested for assault. Who wouldn't be weirded out by this? Like, you're in the shower and your coach just comes in while you're naked to give you shower caps? That's so obvious that he's a creep. My mum was a single mum and did the best she could. However, she thought it might be better to leave me with a neighbour than at home alone. From the age of 6, I pleaded with my mum to let me stay home alone until she got home from work, that I would be okay. My intuition was right. The neighbour was convicted of multiple murders of a single mum. What in the world? Yeah, I don't recommend sending your kid to a stranger. Yeah, I don't recommend that at all. Like, even if you trust your neighbor, Yeah, you don't know everything about them. One of my brothers was dating this girl, and everyone else had met her several times before I did, since I was off at college. So the first impression I get of her is when she shows up at our house and just walks right in. Doesn't knock, doesn't let anyone know she's in there. Just walks her happy butt inside and sits on the couch. So then when I come down the hallway into the living room, this girl had the super vapid smile on her face. I just had this weird gut instinct that she was hiding something from everyone and was going to fight to death to keep it hidden. I expressed to my mom that she gave me a weird vibe, and I got told to stop being jealous. But long story short, she ended up having an entire other relationship and life with another guy 3 hours away. Wow, seriously? But honestly, why did her mom tell her kid that she was jealous? What? Jealous of what? What is there to be jealous about? Some girl started talking to me on the bus ride home. I thought there was something off about her, but my parents, who are inherently optimists, told me to be nice and hang out with her. They even invited her over for dinner a few times. She lived about a 4-minute walk away from me, so it was hard to come up with excuses not to hang out. Wait, just a random stranger? Their parents invited a random stranger to have dinner? What? We eventually hung out a few times, and I found out she was a foster kid and had gotten bounced around a lot. She was also on a lot of medication. Well, anyway, turns out she was having an affair with her father, and they plotted together to kill the mom so they could be together. Oh my gosh, he sure just dodged something. Apparently, when I was 4 or 5, my grandma introduced me to some new boyfriend. Everyone liked him, but I would have nothing to do with him. Wrinkled my nose, wouldn't be left alone by him. I guess he just came into her apartment one day and walked at her with something behind his back, said nothing. She got an eerie feeling and said, "Are you going to kill me?" With a dead-faced stare he came at her. She managed to jump over some furniture and get away. She got somewhere safe, called the police, and never saw him again. Whoa, this grandma be jumping fences. Good on her, seriously. My stepdad. On the surface, he seemed like a good guy. Went to church twice on Sundays and once on Wednesday. Always helped out when someone needed help, whether it was something as simple as loaning $5 to something as complicated as roofing a house. Had a good paying job. Refused to smoke inside the house. When him and my mum went out for dates, he always made sure to bring home food for all of us and toys for the younger kids. Would randomly take out everyone to dinner or to the theatre. Despite all of that, I disliked him from the moment I met him, even before he showed interest in my mum. People told me I was being paranoid, not to worry about it. Fast forward a year, him and my mum are married. I just got a job and was waiting for my first paycheck to move out on my own. My manager gets a frantic call that I need to come home. My stepdad had been secretly spending all of our bill money. We were about to be evicted. The power had already been disconnected. Water service was about to be. And stepdad tried to kill my pregnant mum. Of course he seemed like a good guy on the outside. He was trying to cover all of that evilness he had inside. I had a manager years ago that everyone loved. When I was hired, I ended up on his team, and any number of people came to me saying how lucky I was and that they were jealous. He takes care of his people, always gets the good projects for them, makes sure they get a good cut of the yearly salary increase, etc, etc. The day I started was his last day before he went on a 2 to 3 week vacation, so I only met him briefly and walked away from that with plenty of anxiety. Something was just off with this guy. But again, everyone loved him. People that had known him for years. What did I know? Over the course of the next year, people were just giving this guy a job at every turn. I didn't get it. After a while, I'd start to voice my concerns a bit to some of my co-workers. I was treated as an outcast, and some of his bigger fanboys were outright hostile at times. So, fast forward a few years, and to my knowledge, I was the only one of 100 people that ever voiced anything but absolute admiration for the guy. Then things started unraveling. Let's see. Turns out he was hooking up with the wives of 2 of his employees. Rumor has it also someone's daughter, but I'm not so sure about that. And I guess he left them with a lifelong gift that keeps on giving. He was for years regularly stealing from the company. I'd heard somewhere north of $1 million all up. I'm sure that's probably an accurate number. The insane thing is that some of his fanboys hoped that he'd be hired back to his job when he was released. People were jockeying to position themselves back on his team if he was rehired. I noped right on out of there at that point. Wow, so he went to jail and his fanboys are still like, oh my gosh, I'm sure he didn't mean it. Really? This is what sucking up is like, you know? Why don't you suck up to someone better? Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!